Sounds good. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. Again, I know it's a Wednesday night. For us, we've been traveling a lot. Got here at like 8 a.m. this morning from New Zealand, so forgive me if I hopefully don't fall asleep during this, but stumble on some words, forget something, or forget to answer a question because it has been a long day. But I'm excited, very, very hyped to hopefully expose you guys to some new things. Main, I would say, premise of today is going to be individual sessions, right? And this is something that is probably a little bit different than you may hear from a lot of people who do speak to the more, I would say, like modern style of coaching through games, through the constraints-led approach, where like a lot of what I do, if I were to have 4 players like this in the gym, would be with live defense. However, as we all know, it's not always the ideal situation. And there will be times where you have to get a really good workout in with just you and a player, or maybe it's a game day or a pre-game day, and you don't want to go too hard with the live defense. So as a coach, you will have to have the tools and the mindset to be able to challenge players without defense. And that's a gap that I see a lot with younger coaches these days, really coaches in general, is it's easy to set up some of the games, not easy at all, but you get really good at the games approach side of things, right? Playing or developing skills through live defense. However, once there is no defense available to you, it's difficult, right? And it takes some creativity. It takes getting outside of the box. Some of the stuff that you will see today will be a little bit outside of the box for sure, but hopefully I will explain why all of this has a reasoning behind it, and we're not just doing a bunch of BS for no reason because I feel like them doing it. And that's why I love these things so much, because I can actually explain the context behind this. And it's not just people seeing stuff on social media that look a little bit funky and they jump to the conclusion that we're just kind of throwing random stuff out there. So again, you guys, or I would say you guys will assume that of course all players will be training together. However, try to isolate each player and imagine that they are in a workout by themselves, right? So it'll be essentially like a 1v0 workout. These guys will have some fun, I think, because we're going to do some creative stuff. What I'm going to do is explain a little bit of the concepts behind it first, and then I'm basically just going to put them through a workout, talk to you guys a little bit as we go, and then cover some of the concepts afterwards that we went through in the workout, and then we'll get into some questions. And I never really approach these with a super strict way, because somebody could ask a great question that leads to something else, that leads to something else. So I want you guys to be engaged. If possible, hopefully, to at least ask some questions. Challenge me, right? I enjoy you guys saying, hey, I don't agree with that, or hey, why did you do this, right? That's how we get better. That's how I improve. That's how you guys improve. That's how coaching in general improves. All right, so ask questions, be engaged, talk to each other if you would like to about certain things, come up with ideas, whatever, okay? Now, main, I would say, concepts that I approach a 1v0 workout with. In other words, again, if you have nobody in the gym. Number 1, there is this massive obsession with everything being game-like in an individual workout, right? So for example, if I have the ball here, the traditional approach would say, all right, identify something that these players will do in a game that you want them to get better at, and then have them do it over and over again, and they get better at it. So for example, I could take the ball here, I catch, I drive, I come to 2 feet, and then I shoot a layup from there, and I smoke the layup, which is crazy. Now, what is the problem with really anything we do that is game simulated when we are in an on-air or 1v0 environment? Don't overthink this one.
It's a perfect environment.
Yes. Why is it a perfect environment?
There's no defense, you might be fresh legs, you don't have the pressure of the shot clock, the crowd.
There we go. All of the variables that make a game of basketball are missing. Number 1, there is no defense. That in itself completely changes how these skills are executed, right? You could look at the rep that I just did and say, okay, that's a great game-like rep. However, I drove literally in a straight line, right? When do you ever do that in a basketball game? Most times, you are also having some sort of imperfection when you come to 2 feet. When you finish, you have to look over to the side to perceive defenders, right? It's never as clean cut as we want it to be. And this is something that I see a lot with coaches. As we get out of our playing years, we start to lose a little bit of feel for what basketball actually feels like, right? And look, I'm getting older. I don't play as much as I used to, so I know how it feels to be like, this is idealized, right? This is game-like when it's really not. We were just in San Diego with one of our guys at By Any Means. We were up on a cliff looking at some surfers, and the guy's name is Zoran. I'll just put his name out there. One of our fantastic trainers at By Any Means. But he goes, dude, I'm going to learn surfing in 15 minutes. Because up top, like we're looking literally all the way up on a cliff up there, and it just looks so easy, right? From a bird's eye view, it's like, all right, these guys swim a little bit, they get up on the board, and then they ride the wave, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to learn this in 15 minutes. We walk down, we get in the ocean, we don't even have a surfboard. He tries to learn how to body surf a little bit, and he's like, bro, there's no effing way I'm going to learn this in under 6 months, right? And my point for saying that is that when you look at stuff from a bird's eye view, even when you look at stuff as a coach from right here, it doesn't fully reflect what these guys feel in a game and the demands that they have to go through to actually be a good basketball player, right? So we can sit here and say all you have to do is be able to straight line drive and jump stop and make a layup. But then you look at the best basketball players, and they're able to do a lot more than that, and they're constantly reacting, they're constantly adapting, and we want to reflect that in our workouts, even if we don't have defense, right? And I even hear professional players all the time and coaches saying like, oh, you should never shoot fadeaways, you should never do this, you should never do that. And then you pull up their film from when they were younger, and they were doing all those things, but again, it's hard to see when you're seeing it from a bird's eye view. So all that to say, this is going to be some stuff that is centered around challenging these guys, and if some of it is weird, bear with me, I will explain why. But we come from a little bit more of a camp where we want to push these guys, we want to develop their skill as much as possible versus just repeating the same things that you may see in a game in a very non-game-like environment because there's no defense, right? So let's get started, all right? I want to keep it somewhat concise here in terms of the workout. Again, this isn't an actual workout that you would see me put players through. Number one, because I don't have context. All these young men look like very quality basketball players. However, they're all different. So I don't know exactly how to approach these things in terms of the skills that we want to work on, in terms of their past history, their roles on a team. There's a lot of context that I'm missing. So this is a little bit more of a sample workout, but should be good. And again, I'll kind of walk you guys through it, okay? All right, let's go baseline. Actually, yeah, we'll go baseline real quick. All right, first one, you guys are going to go with a nice little gallop to half court. All right, you're going to go left hand here, jumping off the same foot every time. All right, try to be as fluid as you can off the ground, and then you're coming back with the opposite hand. Let's go. Yep. Coming back right hand. Nice. Now, same thing, but I want you guys to take more dribbles. So I'm here, here, here. Try to take a dribble twice as much as you were before. Go. Faster dribbles. Let's go. Ooh. Keep the same movement. Keep the same gallop here, but you're taking more dribbles. Come on. Let's get it. Okay. Not bad. Now you're going to go backwards. Forget about the double dribbles. All right. You're going with a gallop where you're jumping off of the same foot going backwards. Let's get it. Ooh. Yep, switching, going back. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys, do you feel like that was an easy movement for you guys? Okay, this is one of the first things that we always want to start with, just waking up the nervous system, waking up the brain, throwing something to them that is not easy for them to do, right? Most times you come into the gym in an individual session and go here, and I'm not losing the ball. And what ends up happening is that I'm not in the optimal zone of improvement. In other words, I don't have enough difficulty, which I will explain later, okay? Next one here, all right? You're gonna go to half court, moving side or laterally right here to the side. Every single dribble has to be a behind the back, but I want you to mix up the distance, the speed of the behind the back, and then really try to switch up how you're doing it. So some can be a wrap, some can be quicker. Just get creative with that, going half court and back, all right? Let's go. No dribbles in between. Every dribble is a behind. Yep, going back from half. Same thing, face the same way. Oh yeah, let's go. Yep, take out those dribbles in between. Take out those dribbles in between. Yep, try it again, so watch me. Really try to switch them up a little bit. I'm not taking dribbles in between. I'm here, I'm switching up the pace. Sometimes I go in front, all right, and I'm getting creative with that. Go again, one more time to half court. Yep. Every dribble is a behind, every dribble. Stop taking that. Yep, there we go. Oh, we took it again. Same thing going back, same thing going back. Okay, not bad. Now, same idea. You guys are going to start a little bit out further this way. All right, so start like along the free throw line right here. You guys will step out, like right here. Align with me. Yep, there we go. Now, wherever I point, same thing, same thing. You guys are lined up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? Again, a little bit easier if it's an individual workout, but it's all good. Now, wherever I point, you're going in that direction. That could be there, here, here, here. Every single dribble, once again, is a behind the back. Yeah? Let's go. Start. Get in behind. Yep. You're here with it. Keep that behind going. You're back. Here. Let's go. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. You're here. You're back. Forward towards me. Towards me. Keep the behinds going. Yep. Here. Here. Solid. Okay. Back to the midline. Now, you're going between the legs. Every single dribble is some type of between. It can be here, it can be under the leg, it can be behind your leg with one hand. It just has to be a between. You're going in my direction. Yeah? Ready, let's go. Start dribbling this way. Back, towards me. Fast, fast, back. Here. Let's see who can get there the fastest. Who can get there the fastest? Back. Oh yeah, towards me. Solid. Okay, now, last one like this. Every single between the legs has to be a little bit different, okay? So you have, again, a couple options. You could go here with it. You could go here with it. You could go here, here. It just got to go between that leg, all right? This way, let's go. Switch it up each time. Back, towards me, let's go. Yep. Switch them up. Yeah, there we go. Back, here. Yes, solid. All right, we'll cut it at that. What are some things you guys notice in a drill like that, which is not revolutionary by any stretch of the imagination, but adds in a little bit of difficulty? You guys can answer this question too if you would like to. Anyone? What are some things you notice in a drill like that? There we go. Yeah, you can see them losing the ball a lot, and then at some point it starts to get a little bit easier, and then at that point I will usually cut it off because, like you said, they've kind of woken up those neural pathways. There's no point in continuing to go through it if they're getting it perfect. What did you guys feel versus maybe a drill like this where you're just in place going between the legs? Yeah. Yes, nothing's the same. So every single rep, you have to recalibrate your mind a bit, all right, which is going to make it a little bit tougher. You guys have to be a little bit more engaged. You can't start sleepwalking through it, okay? Next one here, again, we'll just continue to roll through it, all right? You're going to go in place now because I want to show you guys how we can even improve the stationary ball handling side of things. Let's say everyone turn away from each other because I do not want you to see each other. One thing to note here is that one of my favorite parts about group workouts is that you can gain inspiration from other people, right? So if we're doing creativity-based stuff, a lot of the time I'm encouraging them to watch each other to gain some inspiration on how to move, different techniques, different concepts. Now, I don't want them to do that right now because it should be an individual workout, so turn away from each other, okay? Very simple one here. You're going between the legs, but every single dribble in place has to be different, all right? So now you're switching up the pace. You can move a little bit with it. You can go here, here, but I want you guys to be as fluid as possible and just switch up the dribble each time. Let's go like 15 seconds. Let's go. Yep, raise your pace, or sorry, raise your level a bit, slow down your pace. There we go. Yeah, let's go, come on, keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, same idea. Now imagine yourself like you have a range of percentages, 0 to 100. Every single dribble, you got to switch that up. So maybe you go 20% speed, 80%, 50%, 100%, 0%. Same idea, but we'll go behind the backs now, all right? Last one like this. Go, 15 seconds. Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, so again, this stuff is not reinventing the wheel. It's a very similar drill to just having them, once again, come in and go behind, 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 behind. However, they're not able to just tune that out because they get into the flow state. It's like you guys driving, right? When's the last time you've actively thought as you are driving about driving? And that's why you don't get better at driving or folding your laundry or texting. None of you guys have ever gotten better at texting or faster at texting over the past 10 years because you haven't actively challenged yourself, because every time we text, we're doing the same thing, right? So by literally just switching it up a little bit, we start to add in some difficulty there. Now, that was the simple stuff that is easy to start to add in. Now I want to get outside the box a little bit, okay? You guys are going back to the baseline here, all right? Let me see the ball. Your goal with these behind the backs is to get as far out as you can, okay? So if I'm drawing a line from here, like my hip, to the ball, I want that to be as far as I can or as long as I can each time. So I'm here, I cuff and I go back. Here and I'm back. If you lose the ball, that's cool, but I want you guys to cover as much ground with that ball path as you can. Half court and back, let's go. Yep, no dribble in between. No dribble in between. Yep, same thing going back. Not bad. Now, same idea. You're going through that same pattern. When I say quick, you're going to go with like a little quick pat crossover. So you're here, here. If I say quick, you're 1, 2, and then straight back into that pattern. Yeah? Ready? Let's go. Get in front. Get in front. Quick. Quick. Oh, yeah. Now you're going backwards. So you're facing me. You're still getting it out in front, but you are moving backwards. Let's go. Quick. 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 Not bad. Not bad. Okay? So we'll continue to work on this, I would say, concept a little bit. Now I want you guys to get like 1 foot in front here. So you're slightly turning towards this sideline. Same thing. You're getting as wide as you can. You're here, wide, here, wide, here, wide, trying not to take a dribble in between those, all right? Half court and back. Oh, yeah. Yep, same thing going back, fellas. Let's go. Same thing going back. Nice. All right, so there are plenty of layers that we can add into this, one of which obviously is just ball control, all right? That's one thing I'm always thinking about in individual sessions, is how can we just stretch the limits and open up movement options of what they can do with the ball, right? If we can get them more comfortable out here, maybe cuffing the ball a little bit, out behind them, floating the ball, which we're about to work on, it's going to help everything else movement-wise, all right? Then, in terms of that movement, I want to add new options to their movement library. In other words, you guys saw there, we're literally just going from here in that first drill to now like stepping in front and taking kind of like an inverted step in front. Completely changes up how they do it, and honestly, they all look like they had 2 left feet there, which is perfect. I want that, okay? Now, this one, once again, most ball handling drills are based around speed. How fast can you dribble the ball, right? How many dribbles can you get in X amount of time, and that is good. But when you look at really good ball handlers, most of them are also able to slow down with the ball and able to take steps, take steps with the ball. So we want to reflect that in our training as well, okay? So you guys' goal is to not carry the ball, okay? However, I want you to take as many steps as you can in between your dribbles as you move in kind of a curve here, right? So you're here, here, here. You can switch up the move that you go with. Let's go all the way down to the opposite baseline for this one. Go. This one's a little bit controversial for sure. Not bad, but move slower on the way back. Do not rush. Move slower, let that ball float. Move slower, let that ball float. Coming down, let's go. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. You guys got that down pretty well. Solid. Okay, again, yes, if this was the 1980s, would I have them doing this? No. However, it is not the 1980s. Players are able to do a lot more with their dribble, and me sitting here and, with all due respect, trying to maintain the same rules that Bob Cousy used is probably not going to prepare them to be high-level basketball players. It's just how it is these days, right? And these guys, unfortunately, none of them are 7 foot yet. They're all young, so they may grow. But in my eyes, we want to prepare them to be high-level guards. And once again, we need to arm them with the movement options to do that, okay? Now, to not continue to add more and more to this ball handling spiel, we will move on from this. But if you guys have any questions on the ball handling side of things, let me know. Anything. Or anything that you would like to see worked on that I could add in this. If you're like, I don't really know how to work on this in an on-air or 1VO session. Yes? Spins. Beautiful. There is a ton of stuff we can do with this. A lot of what this comes down to, and I'll discuss this later, is, and this is how I always see things. I want to take the macro skill that is a spin and break it down into the micro skills under that, right? So what goes into a spin, if you guys think about it? I'm going to challenge you guys. What are like all the little qualities or the puzzle pieces that make up a spin move? Any ideas? What's that? Sure, like the footwork of being able to do a reverse pivot. I heard some others. Ball control. What is the ball control required for a spin? Yeah, being able to manipulate the ball while you are rotating. Those are two really good ones. I would say the bulk of it. Any more? Yeah, sure. Dribble timing as well. And again, if I'm approaching this in a real group session, there's way more than this, right? It comes down to perception of it and actually being able to read the environment through which you will use a spin. But we're not going to get into that today. You can probably go and check out other stuff that I put out, which is the bulk of this. All right, so let's work on those two things. Manipulation of the ball. What I want you guys to do is you're taking two moves, switching up those each time, all right? And you are taking those as you spin only halfway here, all right? So I'm here. Actually, I'll go this way with it. Maybe I go between, behind, next one here, here, cross, between, and you should feel that ball kind of like flying out of your hand a little bit if you are doing it the right way. Half court and back. There we go. Nice. Yep, come back from half court, speed it up, speed it up. See how quick you can turn, how wide you can get it. Boom. Oh, yeah. Perfect. All right, again, a lot of basketballs flying all over the place. This is a staple for being able to just handle the ball while you are rotating. And while you have that, not to get too sciencey, but the force that comes with just rotating, pulling the ball out of your hand, literally, okay? Now, I'm going to also challenge you to explore a little bit here. You're going to go all the way down and back, spins, but every single footwork or timing has to be different. So you cannot do the same spin move twice. Make sense? All the way down and back. So baseline and back. Let's go. Yep, you can think about it a little bit. You can think about it at first. Uh-oh. I see a lot of the same spins, fellas. I see a lot of basic spins here. Going back. Let's go. Switch it up. Switch it up. Yeah, there we go. Nice. I got some timing changes. We're getting there. All right, now, once again, in an individual session, usually I can look at just one of these guys and actually break these things down, but for me, I'm looking at all of them, so there's a little bit more input than I would have liked. But I saw you guys starting to pick it up a little bit more at the end. How I usually go with this, because in my opinion, basketball is not about giving players one option, one solution, and having them perfect it. It is about exposing them to a wide range of options, especially with stuff like this, so that they're ready for anything. And of course, they're going to gravitate to certain ones more than others. But our job as coaches is to expose them to things. And then they can go and work on these things. Certain spin moves may, I guess, like poke their head out a little bit more in games more than others based on their game, the way they play, their anthropometrics, or how they are built, etc. Okay? So now I'm going to show you guys a couple ones that you can experiment with and just give you guys some options, and you guys try them out. All right? So maybe I go here, maybe I go here, maybe I go here. I'll just give you guys those 3 for now. Try them out. Maybe you try 1, maybe you try 2, maybe you try 3. Half court and back. Let's go. Yep. Coming back, just half court. I like it though. Coming back, continue to mess around, even add some stuff to it. Beautiful. All right, now more variety, okay? And especially with younger players who simply have not accumulated enough hours of watching basketball. Sometimes it's our job, once again, as coaches, to have a bank of all possibilities in our mind that we can just show players. And now, they may have added something to their movement library, so to speak, that they like doing, that is a preference for them. But again, we need to be sometimes the supplement of what they already do or what they watch on TV, their favorite players do, whatever, okay? To not take too much time with this, we'll attack a third component of a spin, which is a little bit more of like the movement quality side of things, being able to control your momentum as you are moving really fast, right, and rotating really fast. So what I'm going to challenge you guys to do here is you're going to go 1 dribble however you want to. You're touching the ground and then spinning out as far as you can with 1 more dribble as fast as you can. If you do not feel a little bit off balance, you can probably challenge yourself a little bit more. Try it out. There we go. Touch, go. Yep. Just go half court and back, half court and back. Yeah. Now switch up the timing a little bit. Yep. Try to be as fluid as you can. Let's go. Touch, out. All right. Now, you guys, I would like to see you guys shrink the delay between touching the ground and spinning. So instead of going touch, lift, spin, you're going here, touch, and you're spinning out of there, okay? Again, you should fall forward. Go again. Boom, you go. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Same thing coming back. Same thing coming back. Imagine like you have a ceiling over your head. You have a ceiling over your head on that. Don't lift up. Oh, you hit the ceiling. You hit the ceiling. There we go. Okay? Now, if we really want to get down to it, there are a ton of different things we can do to simply challenge the movement ability, right, to build coordination here. Are these things ball handling drills? Probably the next 1 or 2 that I'm about to do. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. However you consider this, it's just a movement drill, just building better movers, all right? Last one, or we'll go 2 more. Last one here, leaning forward. You're going to tap quick and then spin out of there as fast as you can, all right? I want you guys, again, to be here and then not lift up and hit your head on the ceiling. Go. Boom, go. Yep, there you go. Put that ball on the ground, though. Be an athlete. Yeah. Same thing going back. Same thing going. What's that? Yes. Yes. You should feel a little bit off balance at first. Lean. Boom. There we go. Not bad. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys to same idea here. All right. Your goal is going to be to start so you can pause on the ground a little bit more. You're spinning out. I want you guys to get all the way to the black line here and then get 1 dribble back behind this yellow line. So black line out, yellow line back. Try it. Big spin, back. There we go. Yep. Couple more. Just try a few. Keep going with it. So now, I'm not necessarily teaching them. I just give them a goal to accomplish. And keep going, keep going, keep going, keep experimenting. Whether this is an older player, whether this is a younger player, if you give players goals to accomplish, they will inherently be very motivated to do that because they are basketball players and they live to have fun and compete and accomplish new things, okay? Now, I'm going to challenge you guys to add something new into this. So you guys have to think, what can we add new to this drill to challenge you guys a little bit more? Think. We can sit here all night. Tick, tick. Where's the Jeopardy music at, man? What can we add into this? You guys are basketball players. You can get creative. It can be some crazy stuff. Okay, this is your first time with me, so I get it. I'm going to add something in. You got to spin on the way back as well. Try it. Yep. Just a couple. Give me 2 more each. Boom. Spin on the way back. Yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah. Beautiful, fellas. Good. Pause it. All right. And that is how you would approach, or I would approach at least. I don't know about you. That's how I would approach building a spin move. You break it down. What are the qualities we want to build? Ball control. Cool. We do some ball control while rotating, spinning. We have, obviously, the coordination. Expose them to a plethora of movement options and allow them to experiment and explore. Okay, little side note on that. In my opinion, one of the things that players do, good players do growing up that makes them really good is they just go out to the park and they just sit there trying new stuff out. And they go and they watch, and you hear all great, players say, yeah, I saw so-and-so do this. I saw Nick Van Exel do this. I saw, obviously nowadays Kyrie Irving do this. And then they go, and I grew up with players who are now in the NBA who I would just walk up to them at the park in the morning, before school or whatever, and they're just in there like trying stuff out because they are expanding their movement toolbox, all right? So that's the second part. Third part, building movement, okay? Anything else ball handling wise? I know we've been going for a little while, but if there is something you want to see, we can knock it out quick. Moving on. Okay, now, again, would I usually structure it this rigid in the sense of ball handling, finishing, shooting? Probably not. I like to mix it up a little bit, give them some what we call contextual interference, because in a game, when the hell are you going to go, oh, this is the ball handling quarter, this is the finishing quarter, this is the shooting quarter? No, they all playing together, but there's value in isolating these as well, okay? Finishing wise, I want you guys to give me some skills or qualities that we can work on for finishing around the rim that maybe your players struggle with. Maybe you struggle with training with these players. Maybe these players, you know them, and they struggle with them. Just throw out some ideas. Okay, fadeaway jumper. Sure, that's one. I'll keep that in mind. Anything else? Pace on finishes. Okay, what was? Reverse layups, yeah. Nice, cool. So touch to finish without the backboard. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to cover all those. I didn't have a plan for these, obviously, so this shows you guys the creative process of coming up with drills. Some of these I actually just came up with the spot based on the demand that I had in front of me, which is to work on these things with the players, okay? Did you guys hear those? You were just spaced out. All right, which one do you guys want to work on first? Reverse layups, beautiful. Okay, let's get 2 of you guys on this side, 2 of you guys on this side. You have 1 step, all right? 2 steps here. You have 2 steps without the dribble to jump from as far as you can and finish on the other side of the rim. For now, that can be left hand, right hand. You can shoot, you can jump with whatever footwork you would like to, all right? Let's see who can jump from the furthest. Actually, no, scratch that because you guys are supposed to be in the gym by yourselves. Let's see how far you can get back and still make the layup. Does that make sense? So just 1, 2, get all the way to the other side, finish. You start. 1, 2. Oh, that's like 4 steps. We good? We'll figure it out.
1, 2,
yeah, so you can start here. You can go 1, 2, hang in the air, get to the other side. That's easy. Missed it, but still easy. Let's go. Keep rolling through it. Keep rolling through it. Still easy. Remember where your last one was from, and then step back. If it was too easy, which all of these are. Too easy. Let's go with 2 feet. My bad. Everything off 2 feet right now. Couple more. All right, now we're starting to get into a good spot. Just keep rolling. Keep rolling, all right? I mentioned earlier what I call the optimal zone of improvement, okay? Most times, and I've been into a lot of gyms with a lot of players and a lot of coaches, most times we sit around 70% success rate, if not higher. I love my mic and drill people, and I'm not inherently against it. However, when you have a good player doing the mic and drill, you're making 95% of your shots. Science will show that you're not getting better unless you are at least below a 70 to 60% success rate, which is, I would believe, what we are in right now, all right? Now you can start to see them really challenge themselves. It starts to feel a little bit more like play than drilling, which is exactly what we want when we are training to play a game and not be in the military. All right, now we're going to switch it up a little bit. Now I want you guys to go right, left on this side, left, right on that side, okay? And you're going to get to the inside hand and finish from there, all right? Now, the Queensland logo on your shirts or words, try to turn it towards me each time, all right? I want to be able to see the words on your shirt. Let's go. Oh, I did not see those. He's from a different state. He's trying to hide it. There we go. Keep it going, keep it going. Now, one of my biggest philosophies is that if you are able to make layups like this, keep rolling. If you are able to make layups like this, the simple reverse layup becomes easier. This is not a groundbreaking theory. However, every time I do something like this, we always get the people who say, why are you skipping steps? Why are you challenging them to this level? They haven't mastered the simple reverse layup. Well, because if they're able to do this, they're probably going to be able to make a wide open, simple reverse layup. Go. Yeah. Let's see if you guys can hang in the air to the last second. All right. Hey, I like it. Way to explore. And again, it starts to get fun. Now, freeze real quick. One of your arguments against this may be these guys are pretty damn good players for their age, right? They're able to do things like this. I can guarantee you guys, I have worked with a lot of players who are not very good, and you can progress and regress these drills pretty easily to challenge them appropriately, right? So if it's a younger player, and we just came from a camp earlier today where we had guys who were like probably college level players in the States in a couple years, all the way down to 9-year-olds. And we're doing the same drills, but I'm going around the gym and I'm telling them, hey, you step a little bit closer. Hey, you don't jump as high. Hey, instead of turning, you're just gonna go this way, all right? So we're constantly adjusting all of these different variables to make sure that it's the right level of difficulty. But that's what makes this stuff so beautiful, is that it's so adjustable, okay? Now, we'll do one more reverse layup one, okay? Those two were more for like, I would say body control purposes, being able to obviously jump in a coordinated manner, all right? But also able to control yourself in midair, float, and then still get power on it, okay? Now, I'm gonna challenge you guys to actually not jump. So you guys are gonna come down to the baseline, super deep on the baseline here, all right? You're gonna start here without jumping. You're gonna see if you can keep your body behind the backboard here, and then just find an angle to finish on the opposite side. He said, you gotta go first, let's go. On the other side, yeah. Not bad. Let's add a little bit of speed, that's my bad. I made it sound like it was super slow motion. Boom, yeah, there we go. Just find that angle. What's up? If you wanna go like a little jump, you can, but not too much of one. Let's go. Too easy, let's go. Yeah, let's see if you guys can stay on that black line. Can you land on the black line? Oh, definitely not. Closer to the other black line. And again, the most beautiful part about drills like this that I would consider like constraint-based on-air drills, I can sit here and mess around with them a little bit, and I don't necessarily need to coach up, hey, put your elbow here, put your feet here, turn this way, because if you set up the drill in the right way, it takes care of itself, and that is the beauty of creating drills. Oh, so maybe I add something like this. Go ahead. I'm going to be here, all right? I do not want you to jump past me. Let's go. So I don't want you to end up here. Stay there. Let's go. Not bad. I'm going to move over here. You go. Don't jump past me. There we go. All right, imagine that, visualize that on each rep. Yeah, way to challenge yourself. Again, we gamify it through this as well. All right, now I'm going to add something in. You are not allowed to use the backboard. So working on another thing that we mentioned. Keep going. Ooh. Yep. Two more. 1, 2. Okay, nice. Now, moving on from that into the idea of the touch to be able to precisely put the ball inside the basket without touching the glass. Let me get one of you guys out here. Which one? Who wants to go? You'll go? All right, cool. Now, again, these are some pretty, I don't want to say crazy drills, but unique drills. This is a very simple way that I will use with players of all levels to, just like the ball handling, not reinvent the wheel, but just add little constraints or rules to these things that actually create difficulty and thus get them better, all right? Very simple drill here. You're going to touch this little intersection, all right? Get into a layup here. Once you make that or miss it, you're going to touch this intersection, get into a layup here. You have 2 rules here, all right? If it touches anywhere on the rim or the backboard, it does not count. Secondly, you have to change your release point on every single finish, all right? So maybe one time you go here, maybe one time you're here, maybe one time you go like a little Jokic water polo finish, hook. Just switch it up a little bit on each one. You can just take a dribble into it like this. So it can just be here, boom. All right, I don't know if that hit rim. I couldn't really see it. Once you get the rebound, maybe you take this dribble into it, switch up the release on each one. All right? What's up? No, let's get like 8 of these. We'll see how many you can make without. 0 for 1. Oh, yeah, we're good. Let's go. Straight into it. Again, very simple drill, but now he's airballing layups. Simple change. Yeah, 1. Still 1. That's 4 right there. You're halfway there. Let's get a crazy release. Try something different. Yeah, I'll take it. Oh, yeah. Got it. 2. One more. Last one right here. Nice. 2 out of 8. Solid. Not good. However, again, what do you feel a little bit differently there versus if I just told you to go, boom, regular layup? Yeah. Right. And it's a little bit different every time. And in a game, I would assume that you feel your layups are going to be a little bit different every time based on where the defense is, based on where you have the ball, based on your body positioning, unless it's a wide open, fast break layup, right? So literally just a little bit of variability like that by saying, hey, do it in a different way every time can change everything. And in fact, I'll show you guys through the mic and drill right here how you can do the same thing and embrace the mic and drill and stuff like that we've been doing for years and works to a certain extent. Who wants to go next? Yeah, let's go. Come on, we out. All right, now, you know what the mic and drill is. Okay, you're going to do the mic and drill. However, we're going to add in a couple things, all right? You're just going to go like, let's call it 4 reps, and then we'll add something new. 4 reps, add something new. First one, see that thing telling you not to dunk or, I don't know, that you're going to injure yourself if you hang on the rim. You have to hit that or the equivalent on the other side to make the layup. But just do the mic and drill. Let's go. Yeah, you got to touch that, so put it off that part of the backboard for it to go in the basket. Top corners of the backboard. Not bad. Let's go. Find that angle. Find that angle. Maybe you get a little spin. Keep going. Keep going. Ooh. All right, now same idea. You're going to try to hit those top corners, but you're going to use the inside hand now. There we go. Yep, last one. Solid. Okay, now, mic and drill, once again. Now you're going to go with different pickups each time. So you're going to take a dribble into it. So if I get it out of the net here, all right, now you're taking a pickup into it. All right, I get out of the net, maybe I go low into it, all right? But I want you to maybe cuff the ball, get it over top. Just do something different to manipulate the ball into the finish. Yeah, just a normal layup. But switch up that pickup. Yep. Keep going. All right, so now I see as a coach, it's too easy. Fine, I'm willing to cut my losses here and not have an ego and say, I did a drill, it's too easy. Keep going. Now, very simple. Do not let me touch the ball. If I touch the ball, -1 for you. If you make one, +1 for you. All right? Same exact thing you were just doing. You got to put the ball on the ground, though. So same thing with that pickup. My bad. Yep. Oh, yeah. I got to it. That's 1. 0. Yep. Switch up the pickup a little bit. Oh! All right. Once again, too easy. Did a great job of that. Now, I'm going to say that you have to get that pickup, all right, with the inside hand. So you're going to go here and then finish with the inside hand as well. Same thing. Yep. Nice. Solid. One more. Solid. All right, look, he's at 75% on that. 3 for 4. Obviously, we want a bigger sample size. So I'm going to look at this and say, shit, I'm still not challenging him enough, right? Versus, yeah, he's making every shot. This feels good. This feels good because the ball is going in the hoop. No, this feels bad for me as a coach because he's not challenged enough, and I don't like this feeling. So what is something, I'm going to turn this to you guys, what is something I can add here to maybe get enough challenge to get him better? Yeah, a little bit more contact. I'll add that in. Maybe one more thing. Sure, all right? So maybe I add in, again, a target here. So I could say, hey, you're not allowed to hit inside of the square on the backboard. All right, got to get it outside. I'm going to give you a little bit of a bump here. Try it. Hey, still made it. Let's go. Hey! Nice. Got me, got me, got me. That ain't happening again. Solid. 3 for 4, I believe. I could be wrong, but it seems like it. Still not good enough. What can we add in? Huh? Your opinion is invalid. You're around me all day. Anything else? Boom. All right, now you can only use the left hand. Let's go. There we go. Ooh. Yeah. Go again. Let's go. You're 1 for 2. Still not good enough. What can we add in here? Yeah. Well, actually, no, not on this one. I forgot it too. I was getting hype about that one. Anything else? Nice. I like that. Now, you are closing your eyes. You can only go left hand. I'm giving you a bump, and you can open it as you are about to release the ball. Let's go. Hey, 0 for 1. Oh, 0 for 2. Yep, 1 for 3. 2 for 4. 50%. I'll take it. All right. Now, big concepts here. Number 1, you can add in constraints, rules, different twists to literally any drill to get what you want out of it, right? Number 2, don't necessarily stick to the traditional drills just because they are traditional drills. Again, can this be a very productive drill? 100%. We just saw that if we add in enough. But I could also switch it up a little bit, maybe have him come in from here, and I don't have to add in all the crazy stuff because I just do something a little bit more new, right? So there's both sides to that. Hopefully that I was able to show you guys kind of the creative process behind adjusting what could be just a traditional drill into something that is a little bit more productive, okay? What else did we say? No backboard. We did reverse layups. I'm going to get to fadeaway jumpers a little bit. There's one more, I think. Pace. Nice. All right. Now, this is something that you see. Actually, I've noticed that Aussie kids, and especially we were at Auckland yesterday as well, and for whatever reason, kids on this side of the world are really picking up very well. I don't know about you guys, we'll see. The ability to slow down around the rim and use like different slow steps here. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but American players are starting to get it. I don't know if it's the Luka Doncic effect, but I like it. I use it a lot because I'm 6 foot and white and I cannot play above the rim. All right, so what I'm going to challenge you guys to do is you have 2 strides from the elbow. You guys can all go at once now so you can get moving again. 2 strides from around the rim here. I want you to switch up the distance and the length of the strides, similar to what we did on the finishing drills, or sorry, the ball handling drills, and then also switch up the pace that you move at, right? So maybe one time you go here, where it's like slow, fast, right? Then maybe the next time you go something where it's fast, slow, really hold it, and get outside with the finish. But I want you guys to explore a bit, go different paces, try to create as many options as you can with different paces around the rim. All right, just roll through it for a little bit. Let's go. Nice. Yep. Let's go. Faster, faster, faster. All right, now this, for me, you guys keep going. This, for me, is a way to evaluate, right? I've never seen these players before. I've never seen them use this sort of option before. So now, preferably, I am watching them to understand the deficiencies that they may have in something like this, right? And they look pretty creative. Looks like they watch a lot of NBA. Nice. Keep going. Oh. Not bad. Last one. All right, cool. So now these guys have the actual pace down. Again, do they actually have it down in the context of perceiving a defender and using that? I don't know. I can't tell that because in this situation, I have never actually seen them play with a defender, and I can't because it is a 1v0 setting, okay? Now, as a coach, I could also step in and play defense. However, being somebody who works long hours at times, I also know that there are times where I don't feel like playing defense, or I'm old and my Achilles start hurting and I can't. So from my knowledge, based on what I just saw, they're pretty good at pace, right? Now, this is where, if that's something that we want to work on, we have to look at a step further than that, right? What can we reverse engineer about this whole pace around the rim concept to actually challenge them, right? Now, one thing just from experience that I would add in here is after you come to a slower step around the rim, you're going to have defenders who are a little bit set and a little bit taller, and you're going to have to adjust and finish around them, right? So what I'm going to ask you guys to do now is the exact same thing, switch it up each time, but you're going to hang in the air off of that last jump and then also adjust your release point at the last jump, right? Or sorry, at the last second. So if I have the ball here, again, maybe I go 1, 2, I hang, oh, and then I release the ball right as I'm about to hit the ground. Challenge yourselves, visualize defense a little bit here. Let's see what we get. Let's go. Hey, there we go. That looks like a realistic finish. He's falling over. It looks a little bit better. Nice. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Keep going. Now, this is something that I call forced imperfection. Forced imperfection, all right? There is nothing out there that is actually causing them to do this and be imperfect with their finishes. But the best players, when you look at Kyrie Irving warm up, when you look at any of the quality players in the world, and they're working out on their own, they're looking different places, they're adjusting. It's not perfect because they are pushing themselves to be imperfect because they understand how imperfect the game is. Time. All right, now, let's say maybe we're working with younger players, maybe these guys aren't as good as they are at visualizing and actually making these adjustments, because kudos to you guys for actually being able to like do some stuff that forces you to airball a layup sometimes because it's difficult. Something I can do here is have a little brainstorming session and use a tool such as an audio cue here to force this myself, right? So now on this one, you guys are just going to go and try to make the layup off of a slow step here. But I'm going to say right or left at the last second. That is the hand that you're finishing with. Let's go. You can go same exact thing. Same type of pickup, strides, whatever. Right or left is the hand that you finish with. Left. There we go. Go. Right. Yeah. Well done. You got to match that now. Right. Yeah. Left. Love it. Left. Left. Ooh, finally. Right. Nice. Left. Right. Oh, it wasn't ready. Bad timing. Right. Good. All right, now, oh, my bad. My brain was going somewhere else. I'm trying to play both sides here. Did something actually very creative here. Did anyone notice on this last rep what just happened? Very niche. I said it very early, and he was able to make an easy layup. Did you make it? All right, I figured. I noticed it, and then like I had a little idea, so I forgot. He made an easy layup because, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but you really delayed that last step when I was assuming he was going to jump, so that while he's still here, I said, right, and then he goes, oh, that's easy, right, okay? And this is a perfect example of the problem-solving process that we can put players through in just a simple adjustment like this, where whether he knew it or not, he ends up finding a solution to make the drill easier, which is sitting more on this right leg to give him more time or throw off the timing, which I say that audio cue to make it easier, right? So now we're in a really dynamic learning environment where it's a big word. I know you guys are probably like, yo, stop using all this weird terminology and it just sounds like too much. But we're in a learning environment, right, where he's able to think, all right, what can I do that is going to make it easier to time this up and make the layup, right? And this is exactly what we want to involve, and this is why it's so fun for players and engaging for players to train this way with just these little adjustments, okay? And that's something that you'll see all the time. Players are constantly trying to cheat these drills, but I enjoy when they try to cheat these drills because they're going through a problem-solving process, all right? Secondly, adaptability. This is something, I figured I was gonna have a shirt on. We literally called our club team in the US Adapt Academy. I personally feel like even outside of basketball, adaptability is potentially top 1A, 1B of being a human, right? Can you adapt when shit goes wrong? Can you adjust in situations when, not to use myself as an example, but when you get 3 hours of sleep and you still have to do something, you know, to provide value? Can, as a player, you adjust to a slippery floor and still play a good game? Can, in business or as a coach, can you adjust when the situations aren't imperfect? In a drill like this, that is what we are looking for. We are not looking for, can you memorize and recite the same thing over and over again? We are looking for, can you solve a problem in a bunch of different ways and just get it done? Can you be a winner, right? And this is something that I see so many players struggle with in games because everything they do in training is meant to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, they get yelled at. Now, in team practices, it's a little bit different, right? There is more room for perfection, although I'd argue we need a ton of difficulty and imperfection to get to that point. But especially in player development, we need a lot of imperfection and we need to encourage imperfection. But that's our job as a coach, because players don't want imperfection. They want to be good. They want to see the ball go through the hoop. They want to make shots. They want to do everything well. So it's our job to set up environments for them to be adaptable, which is not that difficult when you just consider stuff like this, okay? Moving on here. Let's go some shooting. Anybody have time? I don't want to keep you guys here. 7? Oh, beautiful. Okay. I'm stupid. All right. We got plenty of time here. I want to leave you guys time for questions at the end. We do have time for maybe one more finishing concept, though, if you guys would like to throw something out there. Or you guys, if there's anything you want to work on finishing-wise. Nothing? Layups with contact. Okay, this is perfect because, again, in a one-on-0 environment, we don't have contact. And you can sit here and say, it's impossible. Or you could get creative, be adaptable, and try to find a way to do it. Now, this is the prototypical example I use when I talk about building the puzzle pieces of a skill, all right? What I mean by that is what I said earlier. Every skill is a big thing, and we could go and say do it over and over again, you're going to get better at it, or in a situation like this where we can't do it over and over and get better at it, we need to find out what makes this skill. What are some qualities that go into finishing through contact? Yeah, ball security, so maybe ball placement, right? If you're going through contact, you have to be able to place the ball in different places. Beautiful. Anything else? Balance, sure, I'm gonna build on that. Anything else? One more maybe. Yeah, your eyes, right? Being able to maybe go take this contact, perceive where you're at, and then also find the rim from there. Beautiful, let's build on those, okay? So if these guys come to me, and I get this all the time, trust me, hey coach, I can't finish through contact. I suck when I get a bit of physicality around the rim, right? But I don't have anybody to train with. At first, I always went, you're screwed, gotta have people to train with. I still believe that. I still think you need players to train with, and you need to learn how to just battle through contact, and if you don't have that, you're always gonna suck at it, but you can prime yourself to be better at it when you do have that, okay? So, ball placement. We'll start with that, because that was the first one I heard. You guys are gonna go here. Let's say you're starting right here on both sides. Your goal is to get outside of the lane to like the block here. I need you to hold it outside of, like imagine like an invisible line right here, outside of here. And then as you get up into the air, you kind of manipulate that ball over and finish. All right, try it out. Yep, try to be a little bit more fluid with the jump though. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Really hold it away. You can go high, you can go low. Just try to hold it away here. Let's go. Keep going. Keep going. Yep, really delay how far. Not bad. Jump without a pause though. I'm going to challenge you. Nice. Then, of course, as a coach, I can step in. Keep going. Keep going. I would have taken that. So I can step in now and try to get that. Yep. And this doesn't require too much from me as a coach, but now we have just a little bit of perception involved, right? Keep going. Let's go. I'm going to keep challenging you guys. Nice. Oh, yeah. Oh! Beautiful. Keep going. Seems to me like they're in that optimal zone of improvement, right? They have some difficulty here. Now, one thing that I see all the time is coaches going, hey, imagine this, imagine that, to younger players, right? I was watching a workout the other day where somebody was working in an on-air setting on using the off arm, right? So like they had the ball here, and this is a younger player, probably 12, 13 years old, not too advanced, they didn't have much experience, and they were working on being able to like hit down that off arm on a drive, right? And the coach kept telling them, hit the off arm down. You have to imagine that their hand is there. You have to imagine that contact, right? I did my best to put myself in that player's shoes with very limited experience. Mind you, the coach is like a former professional player for years. So for him, he knows what that feels like. For me, I know what that feels like because I do it every time that I drive to the basket. For a 12 or for a 13-year-old player, they don't know what it feels like. So you telling a player to imagine something may get lost in translation way more than you think. Same thing here, right? I could say, hey, imagine that there's a defender there and they're trying to hit it away. For you, it makes perfect sense. For them, it may not. And they need experience, they need reps through live defense to develop the ability to do this. But one thing I can do is, number one, I can add in just a little bit of a swipe there like you saw me doing, nothing too demanding. Or two, I can set up a constraint to force them to do that so that it becomes a little bit more of a habit, right? Which is, once again, hey, you can't cross the midline of your body at all on the finish, right? So if I see you get here and finish, or if I'm facing you guys here and finish, doesn't count, right? That's just a simple way to say you must do this or it is not a good rep. Versus imagine this, and then it gets lost in translation, okay? A little bit of a rant, but very, very important to consider. Remind me of the next one. I know eyes was the third one. Was it balance? Second one? Okay. Now, in the air, we already worked on this a little bit, but I'm going to build on it. In the air, when you get a bump, right, there are going to be plenty of times where you're going to lose a bit of balance and have to recalibrate yourself, right? So what I want you guys to do here, we're going to do 2 drills here. Number 1, you're going off of 1 foot. All right, you're jumping up, and I want you guys to lean back as far as you can and finish from there. So imagine your body like this on a regular jump. Try to get your body like this. Simple as that. Try different jumps. Everything is off 1 foot. Start at the 3-point line here. Get some speed. Give it a shot, fellas. Let's go. What's up? Anywhere you want to. Let's go. Hey, there we go. Oh, yeah. Nice. Keep it going while I talk. Keep it going while I talk. Now, a drill like this, I want to look for their landings, all right? This is one of those KPIs that I'm looking for in a drill like this, where if they're landing perfectly, that means they probably did not experience anything in the air that challenged them from a body control standpoint. So watch the landing. It's a little bit weird, right? Kind of looks like he's dancing when he hits the ground, right? Especially, this is going to be good. Beautiful, all right? I want it to be a little bit awkward. Now, I want you guys to visualize a little bit more. So maybe you make a move at the 3-point line. Right now, you guys are going straight line, which is fine because I didn't tell you to do anything. But now maybe imagine you're going around somebody. You have to pick up through a gap and then finish around a defender while leaning back. Go. Yep, not bad. Now, side note here, I told them to imagine something, and you can see they ain't doing this shit in a game because they're making moves from literally inside the 3-point line. He ain't doing that in a game, which proves my last point, right? But at least we add a little bit of variability here. So I could also maybe say, all right, you got to beat me off the dribble. All right, even if I'm not going full defense, now I get a more representative angle here. 2 more reps. Nice. All right, you actually did what I was going to say for the last one. Last one, you go off 2 feet. 2 feet for this one, lean back. Not bad. All right, so again, can we work on the actual process of being pushed in the air or maybe a little bit of a bump or instability and then recalibrating ourselves in this setting? No, but we can find creative ways to at least simulate this and build the qualities of maybe adjusting your release point accordingly, creating balance, or just being confident, not being in a perfect jump or perfect equilibrium in the air, okay? Another one we could do here, just to show you guys if you do want to step in a little bit as a coach without playing defense, is very, very simple. You're going to step up here. You're going to start at the black line. You're going to take 2 dribbles here. Sorry, 2 steps here like we did on the first reverse layup one. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a nudge in the air, and then you got to finish. All right, let's go. Let's go. What's up? Yeah, let's do that. Same thing we did earlier. A little bit of a nudge. Nothing crazy. My bad. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to hurt them. I'm not going to hurt them. And I get complaints about this a lot of the time, about this being dangerous. And I've had parents complain. I've had coaches complain, and I tell them, hey, you may want to take your kids out of basketball, because if you don't think something like this is going to happen, you are in for a long ride. Perfect, all right? So you can see the adjustment that it takes. I thought you were going to dunk on me. You can see the adjustment that it takes with just a little push. I promise you guys, I'm not out here shoving them, trying to send them to the floor. These guys would probably attest that it's just a little bit of a bump, but just something to now force a little bit of adaptability versus rehearsing something, okay? Let's do eyes. This took longer than I thought, but we're good. I'm feeling confident here. Eyes, last one here. We already focused on that mic and drill one a little bit on eyes, all right? Now, this is a method that I like to use with any skill, ball handling, shooting, finishing especially, all right? And this can obviously manifest itself in a finishing drill like this, all right? You guys are going to go down like across the lane here, all right? So you can spin it to yourself. You're attacking a closeout to get kind of towards the middle of the lane, all right? As you get here, I am putting up numbers somewhere on the court, all right, you have 2 dribbles to get into the lane and then finish on the other side of the basket while you call out the last number that I put out. Okay, so I'll show you. I know that sounds crazy. You're here, 1, 2. Let's say I'm over here putting up a number. If I have 2 up, you're saying 2 and then finishing at the rim. But if you say 2 and then I switch it to 3, it don't count. You go first. Go. Ooh, got lucky. Yeah, there we go. Close but no cigar. Yeah, there we go. All right, we'll cut it after yours. I know you wanted to go, so go ahead. Go. Close enough, all right? What are we getting out of a drill like this? And we can also do this with shooting. I do this a lot with higher level players where maybe they're dribbling out this way. I'm out here. They have to look 5 and then the last second find the rim. Why are we doing this? Maybe an easy answer, maybe not. Let's get somebody. Yeah, right? And there's science behind this that, again, I don't want to nerd out on, but there's a large base of research around what is called the quiet eye, which is essentially how well can you dial in on the rim with limited time and still be able to make the shot, right? And if you think of this from a finishing standpoint, this is great, right? Because a lot of the time maybe you're looking to make this kick pass, or you have your peripheral vision anchored somewhere here, and then last second you have to find the rim. And that inherently changes everything. Same thing with shooting, right? If you're a point guard coming off a ball screen, maybe you're here, you're reading that tag defender, and then last second you have to dial in on the rim. Completely changes the nature of the shot. And every single time that I see players work out, not every single time, but the vast majority of times, what are they doing? You guys probably can't see me here, but maybe I'll go here so you can. They're catching here, they look, they dial in on the rim, and they shoot. So of course it's going to be easy. So something as simple as spot shooting could be improved by saying, hey, we're going to pass it from back here, and then you're going to have a visual stimulus over here where you have to call out a number and then shoot at the last second. You're getting basic block shot, shooting reps up, but it's that much more difficult because you are challenging the visual system, okay? End of rant. Now, shooting. I'm going to start off super simple here to show you guys that we do not need to make crazy, difficult changes to improve our shooting work. All right? You guys are going to rebound for each other here. Let's have passer, rebounder, shooter in the corner. Who's the best shooter in here? Who are you guys voting for? Dusty, go in the corner. Let's go. All right, and then I need a passer and a rebounder. You're going to go 8 shots here, just spot shooting. Simple. 2 basketballs. Make it happen. Yeah. Two more. Got it. Okay, now, is there a time and place for simple spot shooting? Yeah, I believe so. I think especially until you get up to the point where you're making 50%, 60% consistently from just spot shooting, it's good, right? You want to be able to develop the touch, gain some consistency, and even just be introduced to that, like the flow state feeling of just catch, shoot, and you turn your mind off and allow yourself to just flow. Now, this is not representative of a game at all. Vision, dialed in on the rim. Catch point, same every time. Not moving. We do not have different problems to solve each time. So it's essentially like me asking you, hey, what's 2 + 2? What's 2 plus 2? What's 2 plus 2? What's 8 times 6? A little bit more difficult because there is what we call variability there. And he has to solve a new problem each time, right? Again, not to say that this is bad, but I'm going to show you guys some ways that you can very, very simply change this. You're the passer. You're going to give him really crappy passes on every shot. Go. Shoot an 8. Come on, bro. Yeah, there we go. Don't be afraid to give him bad. This is your one time where you can give bad passes. Make the most out of it. Oh for 4. Foot on the line, don't count. 0 for 5. Hey. 1 for 6. 1 for 7. Oh, I got him on this one. All right, 1 for 8. So he went from, I think, 4 or 5 on the last one. I could be wrong, maybe 4, to 1, simply from bad passes. So this is where, just by changing one variable, the bad pass, you can add in a ton of results, or hopefully get more results from your spot shooting, all right? Next one here, I want you to start in on this white little hash mark right here, all right? I'll be the passer here. All right, yeah, you can put that ball away. As soon as I throw it, you have to get back to the three-point line. Shoot it quick. Nice. Figure it out. Well done. Yeah. Last one. Boom. All right, so again, nothing revolutionary, but just small changes that make a big difference, all right? I could also say, all right, you're going to move different directions. You're going to take different footworks. You're going to flip from here to here into the shot. There are literally infinite things that you can add in to the most simple drills to get way better results. Right? And I still see players who are shooting 80% doing this every single day, right? And I talk to a lot of NBA staffs. I've talked to probably 4 or 5 in the last couple weeks, and they are all changing away from this because the fact of the matter is that however you want to spin it, the vast majority of NBA players do not improve their shooting percentages from the time they enter the league to the time they leave the league. So you're talking a decade of the best resources in the world, the best coaches in the world, and there's not a single improvement in most players' games. And that's because they simply stick to what is comfortable, what is easy, and what got them there versus adding in little things to make a big difference. And that scales down to players like this as well, okay? Now, we started simple. I want to build it up from here, all right? What are some qualities or shots that make good shooters? When you look at a really good shooter, what's something that you want to see them be able to do that we can work on here? Yeah, good shot prep and footwork into the shot. We'll work on that. Let's get 3 of these, and I'll just dial up some drills for it. Okay, spacing on a drive. That's a good challenge for me because it's an on-air session, so I'm going to try to get creative. One more. Fluidity. Thanks for the lob. Okay, number 1, shot prep, all right? How I see shot prep or working on being able to prepare yourself for a shot is not to create an environment where it's perfect every time, but to create an environment where it's very difficult for them to get prepared, all right? So what I'm going to have all of you guys do, actually we'll do this. 2 of you guys will be rebounders, 2 of you guys will be shooters, and then we'll flip it based on each drill, okay? Let me make up a drill for this real quick. You're going to start this intersection right here, so let's get you 2 right here, and you'll just alternate, okay? You're going to go one big jump, so you're taking a big jump up here. As you see them jump, you guys are passing them the ball. I want you guys to transition from that jump into a shot-ready position and then get into the shot from there. Who's a decent passer? I'll go the first one to show you guys the ropes a little bit. Whenever you're ready. Oh, my bad. That's me. Yeah, there we go. Way to find that preparation. That's fine. Let's see if you can get a, ooh, yeah. Let's see if you can get a little bit more ready for that shot. Be ready to quickly pop up into it. Solid. Woo-hoo. All right, you guys keep going as I talk. Keep going as I talk. All right, now, again, I've never done this drill. I just created it on the fly. It could be a terrible drill. But what I'm thinking with this is, what are the main KPIs or gauges that we want to see on a shot-ready position? Number one, probably being a little bit lower, like in an athletic stance. We can challenge this by getting them up by jumping and then having to go back low. Number two, we want them to be a little bit more, I would say, straight line or directed towards the rim. So I have them rotating to be able to balance themselves from there. All right, now you guys are going to turn the other way. So you're turning towards the middle now. That's all right. All right, now I want you guys as passers to get a little bit closer. So let's say you're at the elbow and you're going to throw some bad passes. Let's go. Try to get shot ready. Come out of that jump. You're running into it. Let's go. Jump. Get into it. Yes. Find it. Boom. Oh, yeah. Let's go. So, are they shot ready every time here? No. I could look at this as a coach and say, dang, I messed up because I'm not having them shot ready every time. Or I can look at this as a coach and say, wow, I set up a good drill because now sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, and that's what we want. We want them in this optimal zone of improvement. And I'm not measuring this right now by what happens over here, but what happens over here, because the variable that we are building is not necessarily that. That's an indirect result of what happens here, but I'm looking at whether they can get shot ready or not here, right? If we're only looking at what happens make or miss, sometimes you miss a lot of what happens up there, all right? I'll do one drill for this. You guys switch. White jersey, you guys are up, all right? Now, you guys will just rebound here. Let me get one ball, okay? You guys are going to drop the ball here. Actually, I'll drop the ball for you guys to challenge you even more, all right? You're going to start just anywhere in this area, all right? As soon as you see this ball drop, you're getting to it before it can bounce twice. Boom, yep. And then through that movement, yeah, you're shooting it directly off that. Through that movement, you're trying to see you're trying to get as stable as you can, as fluid as you can into that shot. Cool? Not bad. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys. You have to be standing up on your tippy toes at first. Yep, relax. Go. Yep, drop, get into it. Woohoo. Get there. That's fine. Now, as a coach, this is something you may not see from the naked eye, so to speak. Sometimes I want to give them a gimme. I want to give them a feel-good rep that allows them to feel, I would say, the good edge of, the shot-ready prep, right? Then sometimes I want to give them one of these where it's ugly, and they feel the other side of that. Well done. The other side of that where it's really bad, and they're like, oh, shoot, I have stuff to work on, and I want to cover this whole range, right? So most of them are going to be pretty reasonable, but then I'm switching up as we go, okay? And again, to not take up too much time, there are a bunch of different drills. It's not about the drill here. It's about the concept. It's about what you are getting movement-wise and how shot-ready you can add or you can create the movement into this. Does anybody know why I'm making low passes here versus something else or regular passes? Any ideas? Yeah, that's a big part of it, right? So being able to catch down low and then adapt their shot path from there. What is this a constraint to force them to do? By the way, that's honestly half of it, but so good answer. Yeah, right? By passing the ball low, what do they have to do? Get low. I don't have to tell them to get low. I just pass the ball low, and they do it. And now they're in a game, they're not thinking about get low, bend my knees, because that's what creates overthinkers. This has become habitual through action and not input, words, right? And that's what we want when we're creating good basketball players, okay? Okay, cool. So we have shot readiness. We have, damn, what was the second one? Sorry, not much sleep. What was it? Spacing on drives. I forgot your last one too, that's crazy. But then I remembered it, so we're all good. All right, now, this is where we can implement tactical principles into on air, right? Now, ideally, I would set up a game here where maybe you have a 3v3. If somebody drives this way, just do, or according to our principles, how I would usually coach a team, we have a push and we have a pull, and then you play from that, try to find a catch and shoot, right? It's not an ideal situation. We got one player in the gym, so we got to adapt, right? So maybe what I say is, let's have you guys go. You're going to alternate. Sorry, you guys go. I almost gave you guys 2 in a row. Rebound. You guys are going to start on the wing, on 45 right here. I am taking a dribble into it, all right? I could either drive this way, or I could drive away from you, or I could drive this way and then turn back and drive away from you. You have to follow the drive a little bit. If I go towards you, what are you doing? Push. If I go away, pull, okay? We'll start simple with this, and then maybe I'll add something as we go. Boom. Good shot. Now, just to set the stage here, very cut and dry drill, which is fine, right? This is a drill that's probably going to have enough difficulty because they're reading, they're moving, they're perceiving. One thing I would strongly suggest always adding in drills like this is a target, right? So both of you guys are going to shoot, for the sake of time, 3 shots. What is your target goal? 1 for 3, 2 for 3, 3 for 3? 1 for 3. It's kind of lame. Maybe 2? You don't believe in it? Oh, all right, 1 for 3, sure. What's yours? 2. All right, let's go. Ooh. Nice. There we go. Did you hit your goal? Yeah, you did. You did, but it was a terrible goal, so it is what it is. All right, again, very simple drill here, but we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Good way to just reinforce these principles. Did anybody notice certain things that I was doing to maybe add some complexity to it? Yeah. Sure. Good answer. So just by me driving this way, then maybe going back, then maybe switching directions, okay? Now they're not sitting there thinking, catch shot, make shot. They're sitting there considering the principles of play that we are enforcing, and then quickly when they catch it, they have to turn on their shot-making mind, right? Versus a pre-planned drill where we make 3 going this way, 3 going this way, and they're able to rehearse this versus adapt to this. So if I said, hey, I'm going to drive this way on the first 3, you're going to push, catch, shoot. It's the same thing. They know what's coming. It's what's 2 plus 2? 4. What's 2 plus 2? 4. Versus having to react on each one. And that in itself, you know, checks all the boxes that I'm looking for in terms of adding complexity to a drill like this. There's one other thing I was doing. Yeah, timing of the pass, right? A lot of the times, do you guys, teammates, make the best passes? No, right? Even at the highest levels, timing is going to be off, passing accuracy is going to be off. So as coaches, and again, this is something you see in the NBA a lot. Actually, when I was at a Division I school as a walk-on, I was actually berated, or somebody berated me, one of the assistants one time, because I literally, I kid you not, made a pass, get ready to shoot, like this, to the players, right? Mind you, this is a future NBA player that I was rebounding for in a drill. Like this, right? Give him the seams, make the perfect pass. To me, that's partially where I knew that I needed to quit that and just get into player development, because that's the opposite of what we want to be doing. We want to prepare players for what they're going to see or the edges of what they're going to see in a game versus going for perfection each time, right? So timing of the pass, accuracy of the pass, as a coach, purposefully mix this up a little bit. Last thing, shooting-wise. This one will be interesting. Flow or fluidity of your shot. Most of you guys will work with athletes who have very clunky hitches in their shot, and they tend to shoot like this, right? Thankfully, actually, not thankfully, because I wish we had one like this right here. Most of these guys got pretty fluid shots. They look pretty solid, all right? You can always improve some. Seems like think the same. But if you go like this, what is the primary reason for that hitch? Does anybody know? Yeah. Okay, power. Timing, what do you mean by that? Yes, right? So if we imagine a chain that is the body, all the chain is working in different timings and against each other, right? So if the ball is going up, hips going down, we go up, ball goes forward, everything's working by itself, and then the power that we get is just this versus this, right? So for good shooters, we want to create more flow. We want to create more energy transfer to allow them to be able to gain the most force possible from the ground, right? Again, at the camp that we did last night in Auckland, there were some pretty bad jumpers in there. I wish I could show you guys videos. I kid you not, we did these next two drills, and I'm not going to say we changed these players' shots because it just doesn't happen like that. It's going to take time. But you'd be surprised at how quickly shots clean up when you do the opposite of what you would think. I'm going to challenge you guys to shoot from as far as you can without your feet leaving the ground and still make the shot. I'll show you guys one rep. If I airball, I airball. Kind of cheated a little bit. I fell forward. Let's see if you guys can keep your feet fully on the ground. See what you can do. Let's go. All you guys. I'll rebound, or I'll try. Gonna be a lot of misses. Solid. Move back if you're hitting the backboard. Ooh, yeah. Let's go. Give it a shot. Just because you miss one short, by the way, doesn't mean you got to move in. Figure it out. Yes. Oh. Let's get one more. Not bad. Okay. Now, what are we taught is the best thing to work on form? Right? Again, is there a time and place for this? Absolutely. 100%. See the ball go through the rim. Develop consistent mechanics with younger players. Sure. But if you're talking about a 13, 14, 10-year-old, even professional player, high level, I'm working with players who are making $700,000 playing Division I college basketball, who this drill is far more valuable than form shooting. And I say that because what are we ingraining in our motor patterns when we do this 100 times a day without supplementing other things? The chain is working only the top part. Again, I'm not dismissing this because every time that I come into the gym and my shot feels terrible, I will probably do this because it feels good and, getting back to the basics, the whole nine. However, if you guys are actually looking to make changes in your players' shots, I would suggest actually shooting from further back. And this sounds crazy, and you will probably not believe me until you try it. So I would strongly recommend that you guys have an open mind here, and if you have a player with a hitch, just give it a shot. Just trust me on this one, okay? I've seen it plenty of times where they are forced to get more energy transfer here, which even you saw with these guys, because they have no choice other than to time everything up, right? We're going to add something to this. Now, let's say you guys can step in a little bit here, all right? You're going to start above your head. You're thinking about the ball path here. You're going down and up, everything at once, right? So I'm down at once, up at once. Your goal, your goal is to make the ball feel as light as possible. The ball is a very light object. It should feel that way. Try it. Don't be scared. Let's go. No, and then I'll say jump, and you can jump. Ball looked pretty damn heavy there. Let's go. Not bad. Yep. See if you can push into the ground a little bit more. Ooh. All right. Now, this is where just because you set up constraints doesn't mean you can't coach them. Right now, what you'll see is they're going here. I'm going to encourage you guys, you can lift your foot off the ground here on the way down. Have you guys ever seen those arcade games where like you punch the punching bag and then like it tells you how hard you punched it? Or are you guys too young for that? I mean, I feel like that's pretty. You have? Okay, beautiful. Imagine the ground is that. We're going to see who can hit the ground the hardest through this drill, right? So I'm going to be here, I hit the ground, and then I try to get as much power from the ground as I can. Give it a shot. You can jump now, yeah. Boom. Nice. That's fine. If you bank it in, you bank it in. Don't be scared of power. Do not be scared of power. My bad. Let's go. Boom, up. Don't be scared of the power. I can tell you guys are trying to control it right now. Let's see who can bank it in. Yeah, exactly. Hit the ground hard. Yeah. Yeah. Now you hear a lot of expletives going on here. Yes, you're trying to bank it right now. Bank it. Let's go. But bank it in, not to the side. Hey, there we go. Last one. I'll take it. All right, now, again, if any like right-minded person comes in the gym right now, they're going to look at me and say that I'm an absolute dog shit, I'll just say it, coach. Because what in the world are we doing? And this is exactly why at the beginning of this I said, just give me an opportunity to explain context here where, hey, is this going to be the bulk of what we do? No, this is 5% of what we do. If a player has a hitch or they work or their shot's a little bit less fluid than we would like it to be, maybe we will prime their nervous system to be more in touch and more coordinated with something like this. And then we just move on to other shots and it feels more fluid, right? Shoot a shot right now, regular. Now, their nervous system is more primed to generate power, to feel more fluid, right? And then we can add in more reasonable drills, like, for example, I need one of you guys to shoot this. Ball's on the ground. You guys are going to go quick drop and up into it. So I'm here, straight up into it. Try to generate power. Now, think about the ball path here. Don't think about your body. I want the ball to go like this. One line, up into the air. One of you guys. It's all you, buddy. Let's go. Yeah, so you go down, start there, up, and then just straight up into the air. Ball goes straight up. Ooh, ball hitched a little bit. Try it again. Down, up. All right, now, for somebody who already has a pretty fluid, good jump shot, this is a good way to challenge the fluidity. Once again, is this everything? Nowhere near it. But these are good ways to challenge the ability to generate power, make it more effortless, get more range, but also just on a regular shot, not have to spend as much energy, right? So many players spend all of their energy shooting a three-pointer, and the more energy you expend to do that, the less you can be precise and accurate, because the more force you spend on something, the more tense you are, and the less accurate you can be. It's pretty obvious, right? If you're throwing a dart and you just chuck it it's probably not going to go very accurately. Versus if you're able to get power and effortless power on the dart, it's a little bit different, right? You're able to spend that mental energy being more precise, and your nervous system is more coordinated, okay? So thank you for asking or mentioning the fluidity or the flow, because that's something that I think is valuable to at least expose yourselves to as coaches, and can be a pretty good fix. I left us with only 15 minutes for questions, and obviously I can continue to go for a long time, but I'm going to stop that now and open up to you guys to ask some questions, whether that's the context behind things, maybe like certain drills that you would want to see, certain concepts, anything that you guys would like to, feel free to throw it out there.
Splitting double teams, like what are you teaching?
Ooh, splitting double teams in an on-air setting or just in general?
In an on-air setting or in general?
Okay, in general, I'll cover that first. A lot of it is just setting up 1v2 drills and manipulating the space in those defenders, and then also the start with which the offensive player starts with, right? So for example, I'm not going to have them set this up just for the sake of time, but maybe I start a defender here, defender here. The first, most simple one could be, hey, defenders, you guys put your hands behind your back. So it's a little bit more simple, and their success rate can be higher, right? So maybe they just have 4 or 5 dribbles to beat that double team, right? And we can do that in the half court, full court, whatever. Then we could progress it up. We could restrict their vision. So I could say, hey, defenders, you guys are like just floating around to different spaces. Offense, whenever you turn, you have 3 dribbles to split that double team. Now you got a little bit of a vision constraint, and they got to read that. So again, just adding different things to it. In an on-air setting, this is a great question because, again, you cannot actually work on that in an on-air setting. So what you have to think about is the qualities behind that, right? How do we usually split double teams? Well, most times it's going to come down to ball security. So being able to keep the ball away, maybe like with certain dribbles like this. So if a player sucks, let's say one of them sucks at like splitting double teams, maybe I would warm up their handles with certain ball handling drills that encourage them to try different things or different ways to dribble the ball through a double team, right? So maybe we'd go stuff like this, right? Maybe I would have them work on something like this or like a low dribble through there, and I would find different ways to challenge that. And then obviously the movement behind it as well, where say I'm here, ball handler is here, they come up to me with one dribble, I point one way or the other at the last second, and they have to go like a quick low dribble around me. So again, it's just kind of a reverse engineering all the qualities behind splitting that double team, which is tough, and it takes some creativity as a coach. So I'm glad you asked that. Anything else?
For the last row over there,
Yeah.
fixing the hip pitch, if the player decides to compensate that mechanism into like more of like a pushing,
Yes.
how would you try to give that?
Great question. Somebody did that a couple weeks ago in the gym with me, actually. What I would do is this. Let's say just be an actor real quick. You're going to shoot one where you shoot out like this, like the no. You're talking more of like the no jump shooting or just any of those? Sure. Yeah. Really, any of them are relevant. No jump shooting, so you can't leave the ground. You're just going to push the crap out of the ball like this. Yeah, like shoot it like this. Yeah, there we go. So this is a good shout because this is something we see all the time, right? And this is where, again, it's not just about letting them figure it out all the time. Sometimes we have to guide them to the answer, and how I'll do that is, hey, try to shoot it.
Do I actually try to shoot it?
Try to shoot it. Now, I was probably too close, so maybe next time I step back, or I just use an analogy of, hey, try to hit the ceiling, right? And then, of course, the first time they just fling it up to the ceiling and it's way too high. And then I end up using language and different constraints, you know, a hand. Literally, I've put up like one of those little poles before and had them shoot over it. So now I'm taking the ball flight to manipulate their mechanics, which is the way that I prefer doing it, versus using their mechanics and speaking to that to manipulate the ball flight, if that makes sense, right? So yeah, that's a great question and something I honestly see a lot. So I'm glad you asked that as well. Anything else? Yes, for sure. So This is a pretty deep concept, and one that I could, again, go on for a while with. I consider there to be a bandwidth of like acceptable possibilities, right? So if somebody just thumb flicks and it doesn't really affect their shot, I have no problem with it. Because that to me is something that is many times like just a confounding variable, like it doesn't really matter. Some great shooters do it, some great shooters don't. Now, the one that you're talking about, where they actually end up like skewing their ball flight a little bit because of that, that's where, again, I would try to adjust based on like some constraints that we can add to them, right? So literally like, I mean, I remember when I was younger, I had like an old head coach who would put a nickel between like my thumb and my finger. That's a constraint, right? And it works, right? And I still thumb flick a little bit, I think. I've never really actually thought about it, but I know that I don't do it too much. Like I used to shoot like this, and that's a perfect example of like coaches have been using stuff like this for years and years and years, and stuff like that works, right? So even like a thumb flick, that's like the old tested true method that I think could work well, and something that I've actually used with players before in the past. Now, in terms of other like hand placement variables, a lot of I do think hand placement's probably the second thing that I coach up in terms of shooting the most. Energy transfer, hand placement, everything else under that is very, very limited in terms of what I coach up, because I do believe that every player has a very unique like jumper profile, and if it works, it works. Tyrese Halliburton, all these guys have like different shots that still work at a very high level. But hand placement, to your point, is something that I will coach up. And that is something where, hey, maybe we do start close. Maybe we work on form shooting here, and they're used to shooting there, and we go, no, we're just gonna isolate hand placement and just shoot shots like this, right? And not reinvent the wheel. And then we start to add, hopefully sooner rather than later, variables to it. Like, okay, now I'm gonna pass you the ball from back here. You have to find hand placement and then up into it, all right? Then we start to think about like getting under the ball a little bit more, right? Like I see a lot of players who start like this, and then their energy transfer sucks because they have to flip over at the last second. And that's, again, something where you can either use constraints or analogies. Analogies being just like, hey, try to get under the ball as much as possible. Some players will respond to that and figure it out by getting under the ball. Some players, you will have to use different constraints. Like, for example, if your hand goes flat at any point, it doesn't count. That's like the most cut and dry, simple one. But there are other ways that you can do it as well. Damn, I was using one the other day that I can't remember. But there are plenty of ways that you can then like work on being able to create a loaded position to get up under the ball from there. So again, it's a constant process of figuring out what works for each athlete. It's always crazy to me how some athletes will respond to like some language or a drill that others won't, where I could tell some players like, hey, get under the ball, and they figure it out right away. Other ones, they're like, and it's just incredibly ugly, and I'm like, gosh, like that was terrible. But it's the same thing. And that's where just like trial and error, constantly just chipping away, hey, what works for this individual athlete? And then once you find those things, stick on it, add complexity, and build it up to actual jumpers from there. Really good question. We got time.
When you mentioned the optimal zone between like the 60 to 70% mark,
Yeah.
that's when you refer to shooting and like finishing, etc. How would you, in terms of KPI wise, like determine like the dribblers?
Yes, great question. So I always talk about optimal zone of improvement. In general, like the science will say that between like 40 and 60% is kind of that ideal improvement range. Now, shooting, for example, and I'm going to go through each skill, shooting inherently has way less room for success, I would say, right? Like the best shooters on earth in an actual game representative jump shot are only making 45% these days, right? So we have to adjust that, where if you're making even 60% of your shots in training, I think that's too high. I think even 50 is too high many times for the bulk of our training, where I want our shooting work to be around like, and most times I'm not actually sitting here like, oh, you made 32%, this is right out of the optimal zone. Like, no, I don't do that. But with higher level guys, I will track their percentages for the whole time and see if like we're too high, too low. I like it to be between 30 and 45%, because that's what they're going to be seeing in a game. And I want to be just under, like for example, if a player shot 40% in games last year, I want to train them at 35%, because that means that we're pushing the difficulty a little bit more than even a game, right? Maximum 40, 45%. So that's a good way to see how like the optimal zone is adapted based on the skill. Finishing, I think, is pretty valid to go with just like cut and dry 40, 60%. Ball handling is very easy because you have way less room for error. And that's where I think I've never really quantified that, because it's tough to do that without, again, being an absolute statistics nerd in the midst of your sessions of like, oh, you just lost the ball 1 out of 6 dribbles, versus just like, hey, if I see these guys screwing up and I see them a little bit shaky with their handles, I'm cool with it. As long as they're not here and they have a little bit of variability and they're shaky a little bit, I'm fine with that. Whatever percentage that is, I don't know. But that's more so what I'm looking for, because that's such a niche skill that's tough to quantify just based on like the nature of like you dribble the ball so many times in a ball handling drill. So another honestly fantastic question that I'm glad you asked and clarified. 1 or 2 more.
What's your vocab like then, watching athletes struggle? What are you saying to them whilst they're actually going through that struggle?
Yeah, in terms of just any drills or?
Let's just say ball handling or shooting, they're really struggling with concept, and you're trying to keep them engaged, but also not just coddling them as well.
Yeah, so I tend to quickly try to identify each athlete's psychological profile. There are some players who absolutely love being challenged, right? And if they're not challenged, they just crave it, right? And like, you honestly sometimes have to pull them back from challenge and get them like a little bit more into a higher success rate, versus other players, I would say the majority of players struggle with challenge at first, right? So it's constantly reminding them, hey, look, like this should be happening. And they don't see it at first most times. And again, this is something where you have to say it in a number of different ways sometimes to get it to click. But even younger players, older players, helping them understand, honestly, older players more so, because many of them are so conditioned to making 80% in block shooting, to doing super easy ball handling drills where they're not losing the ball. So if I'm working with a higher level, like college, professional player, those are the ones that I really have to be in their ear a little bit more of like, yo, you should be messing up. Stop being so perfect. Versus younger players, they'll get a little bit frustrated sometimes. More of the time they have like a blank slate of like, yeah, I guess this is just what training is. And then after they start training with you for a little bit longer, they start to just associate that with what training is, right? Like, oh, training is messing up a lot. But I do think at first, again, it's like really seeing what drives them, seeing what pisses them off, what frustrates them, and what gives them like a dopamine hit. And the more that I can use my language, and also not just the language, but like reaction and body language. Like if they try something, for example, if one of them goes up and tries something like this on a finishing drill and airballs it, and I go, yeah, like I like that, or I clap based on that, I'm not going to say I'm purposefully doing that at all times, but I've conditioned myself to try to condition them based on how I react to certain things, right? So even if like we're doing a small-sided game and a player makes a really good decision to get through a gap, and then they just smoke the layup and they go, I missed the layup, I'm going to go up to them and be like, yo, great decision. I'm not mad at that, right? Because I am purposefully looking to condition them to focus more in this context on the decision and use that as like the KPI versus whether the ball went in or not. And that's why coaching is so delicate in terms of like how you use your language, because you can really condition players to value the wrong things in training, which can hurt their entire career. And being conscious of that is an incredibly important step as a coach. One more, because I tend to yap on these. If we have one more. Yeah.
So one thing that, in our particular association, we have a lot of parent coaches who don't have a playing background experience like you would have.
Yeah.
So some of the obstacles are demonstrations.
Yes.
So like you were able to
Right.
training. That's my first part of the question, is how do you overcome that?
Yeah.
What advice do you have? And my second part of that would be, who are your, where do you learn? Where do you learn your craft from? Because obviously you had ways of constraints and layering the drills to different
Right.
skill sets. Beyond like just being experienced, how are you learning? Where are you getting educated from?
Yeah, for sure. So I think a lot of it is really both questions comes down to just consuming basketball, right? And I say consuming basketball because it's not even necessarily watching film, but just watching film in the traditional sense of like really dissecting everything, but just watching basketball. And I would say I learned more from just sitting around on a Tuesday night watching a college basketball game and seeing like, oh shoot, they do this, or like, oh shoot, this is a drill or a constraint that, and of course at this point, like my mind is just wired to think that way. But even at first, like the more you're able to watch and see and think a little bit deeper than usual, the more you're able to start to connect some of these dots. And I think to answer your first question, I've had points where, you know, maybe I'm injured, right? And I've put myself with the constraint, I guess, of like not being able to move. And I've been like, oh shoot, how am I going to train in the midst of the summer when we have a bunch of D1 guys in the gym and they would like to see demonstration? And what it comes down to is one, film, right? Like if I can pull up a clip on my phone and say, hey, look how this guy does it. If I can show a player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, doing something, that's better than me showing it because they really like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And they see him obviously as top, whatever, 3 player in the world, and it builds immediate buy-in like that. And he probably does it better than me anyways. So I've actually found that sometimes I think that's a better way than a demonstration at times where, you know, if you don't really have a playing background, just develop a basic library of clips, and that can just be screen recording YouTube videos on your phone over time that you show players for like your core concepts. And then second is using other players in the gym. So if you have one player who has picked up a concept, a move, a technique, whatever, I will purposefully choose them to demonstrate and then go, hey, you know, did everyone see that? Like watch little Jimmy again, right? And then they'll go and do it. And then now they have a demonstration from one of their peers that suffices just as much as me doing it. So those are the 2 techniques that I would suggest using. And then I guess to circle back to the second part, I would say there are stages of learning as a coach, right? At first, it's more so just learning like the basics of the game and like the science behind how you train. Not even necessarily science, but just the logic behind how you train, like setting up simple games and certain concepts or X's and O's or tactical principles that you want to implement. Once you get to a baseline level of that, that's where I think either playing, which obviously is not available for everyone, which is fine, but I do learn a lot from just playing basketball and experiencing it and feeling it myself every day for the most part. Watching, like I mentioned, which I've already yapped about. And third, like talking to people and just having dialogue about basketball and talking to players and saying, hey, what do you feel? And even younger players, right? You can go up to 11-year-olds, oh, I always get my shots blocked. It's like, all right, why do you feel like that? And just continuing to ask questions and be curious. And then if you're able to talk to higher level players and fill in all the gaps and just have dialogue around basketball, that's when the ideas start to come in. And I could get super abstract here and say like, you know, sometimes I study how other sports train and sometimes I study martial arts and how they train or how they move. And, you know, at this point, my mind is just wired around basketball, but that's a point that you don't necessarily need to get to. All those other things are going to take care of, you know, 99% of everything that you'll ever need as a coach. But that's why it's so important to be open-minded, because you can learn something from your 12-year-old player if you're open-minded enough. You can learn something from your rival coach if you're open-minded enough. But so many coaches have the idea of, I know everything, I'm good, I learn only from watching film, I learn only from, you know, reading a book, versus just talking hoops, watching basketball, learning from people that you would never expect. Another very good question. All right, I'm not going to hold you guys in here any longer. I appreciate you guys for coming out. Give a round of applause for the guys. Well done. You guys keep killing it, man. Hopefully I'll see you guys at some point soon. Yeah, I hope something was applicable, practical to you guys situations today. I know obviously we probably have a wide range of different types, different levels of coaches in here. But even if you guys took just a few things away from it, I'm happy and appreciate you guys for setting it up and making